Sam's Club says it is saying goodbye to traditional checkouts. The retail membership club says it'll phase out checkout lanes across its 600 stores. So instead, customers will scan their items through an app as they shop. Tests for the new system started last year. Customers will use the Sam's Club app, which includes an AI scanner that verifies each item scanned. This will eliminate someone checking your receipt at the door. Sam's Club says the new feature will allow more time to enhance the member experience.
And is what's facing us all in the future if we do not open our eyes and wake up. Watch this.
The lust to control other human beings is a story as old as time. There's a very strong drift in the direction of globalization, of the ultimate centralization of control in the hands of unelected officials at supranational organizations.
They want all of the resources of the world in their pocket.
The bigger picture is that an attempt is underway now to collapse liberal democracy and replace it with global technocracy.
This is a coup. They're saying we can control with rules. We don't need currency anymore.
It's like an inverted prison. You are supposedly free to roam about, but everything you want to access is behind lock and key.
The potential for social control is gigantic and potentially irreversible.
They plan to commandeer land, reduce farming, and radically change the food we eat, transform the supply of electricity, and then dictate how we use it, and replace currency with a system of credits. All three strategies are built on the premise of a climate crisis caused by carbon dioxide.
I do not think there's a climate crisis, and I base that on all the evidence and the climate data sets that we build to answer questions just like that. The government is very clear that they want a catastrophic story.
There is no single science paper that proves conclusively that humans control all or most of the global climate.
Europe's mad dash towards net zero is effectively economic suicide. Politicians are purposely impoverishing ordinary people, purposely deindustrializing Europe.
It's just tremendous amounts of damage in the name of saving the planet. It does make you ask, what is it we're actually saving if we're paving it over?
I think what we're dealing with here is actually a global war on agriculture.
When you look at how many farms are selling up, we're walking into food shortages.
If I can switch everybody from real food to pharma food, then 100% of the agriculture industry can go through my publicly traded stocks, and I have complete control.
This is the biggest public relations scam in the history of the world. But it's far more than that. It's a blueprint. It is the action plan.
All life on Earth is going to be radically changed.
Everything will be monitored. The environmental consequences of every human action.
The general population cannot fathom the psychopathy of the vision that they're facing.
We need to wake up, everybody. Wake up fast. It's coming.
Shalom. Giving all praises, honor, and glory to our Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham Bakakwadash. Double honors to the men that taught us his truism, knowledge, and understanding, which is our apostles and our elders of the Church of Great Millstone at our ruling wall. Shalom, one, peace and love to the hopeful elect, the 144,000, and the rest of the believers that are out there, that are listening and learning, who are of the household of faith, who are descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The so-called Negroes, Latinos, the so-called Native Americans and Seminole Indians, and the rest of the Israelite foreigners that are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. The MOTB is not coming. The MOTB is here. Once again, the MOTB is here. And, what's funny is that when you think about certain groups, such as the IUIC, they've changed their stance on what the MOTB is several different times. Watch. Just watch. As the apostles and elders say, beginning with Apostle Tahar, they're going to start eventually pushing that the MOTB, is the RFID CHIP. And this is the reason why they're slowly integrating, mentioning technology in their MOTB breakdowns, so that they can basically say that they've always been teaching that, which though Yahushua be taught in contention, yet Yahushua is still taught. So this technology is here, and this is what the MOTB is. And there's plenty of videos on the World Wide Web, educating you on the topic. The apostles and elders have been going into this topic since before 2028. All right, since before 2028. It's now 2025. And yes, a lot of videos, have been taken down, but there's still an abundance of information that's out there, that help you to understand what it is, which this is a prophecy that you have to know accurately. All right, as it states within the book of Romans 1 and 3, blessed is he that read this book. When you go into the word read, the word there for read, or the definition for the word read, is to know accurately. All right, it ain't just about picking the book up and reading it like it's a novel. You have to understand what's written on the pages. All right, and this MOTB is one of the things that's written down. That's the reason why it says, let him that have understanding count the number of the beast. When you count, you're reckoning something. You're casting a vote. You're using math, all right, the Hebrew word amath, to come to a determination of truth. What is it? What is the mark of the beast? This is a question that people should be having. Motherfuckers got these stupid and silly things to say, and questions to ask, and things to rebuttal. All right, and gainsay that. But what you should be asking is, what is the MOTB? Now, the inspiration of this lesson is drawn by multiple things, but I'm going to start here. All right, which is an article from FoxBusiness.com. And this was published April 19, 2025. And it says Sam's Club is phasing out checkouts, betting big on AI shopping. This is just the precursor. And you know what led up to this? March 2020. Yep, that's right. March 2020. All right, when they did that big ass test. All right, that was really to establish the foundation of the MOTB, so that they can come forward with this particular technology and people will be accepting of it. Sam Club, the Walmart-owned membership warehouse, is rolling out a major change to its grocery payment system and embracing artificial intelligence. The retail giant plans to phase out traditional checkouts across its 600 stores and create a friction-free shopping experience, which will include customers scanning goods on the go with an app and then having the AI scanner verify the goods as customers leave. The technology would eliminate the need for receipt checks at the door. All right, it's also going to eliminate the need for a bunch of different employees. All right, a lot of people are going to lose their job to artificial intelligence and automation. And it's not just going to be Sam's Club that do this. Other retail giants are going to jump on the bandwagon. All right, they're going to tap in too. And this is really to establish more order and more control. All right, and to basically make it to where if you don't bow down and worship the image of the beast, which is to, participate in this society by accepting their ways, their views, their values, their laws, their decrees, and eventually the MOTB, which is a physical mark, it's going to be pushed, throughout the whole world. But we're dealing specifically with America right now, so it's going to be pushed throughout the United States of America. And if you don't have it, you won't be able to just walk in the store. You pull out change. Oh, no, we don't accept change. You pull out a credit card. Oh no, credit cards are obsolete as well. You pull out your phone to pay, which that's the next step. The next step is to merge CBDC, all right, central bank digital currency, in a government payment method through the phone. But then after that, it's going to be under the skin. The system known as Scan and Go was initially launched in April 2016 and allows members to use the Sam's Club mobile app to scan their products. What is that called? It's called conditioning. Walmart added more gas stations. The latest announcement adds the AI checks, known as Just Go, to the process, and we'll see the option of traditional checkouts being eliminated. The new checkout text was announced at the Consumer Electronics Show in 2024. The plans were announced by Chris Nichols, Sam's Club president and CEO, who outlined the company's growth ambition at the 2025 investment company meeting last week. This is one of the fastest, most scalable transformations happening in retail today, Nicholas said. We're investing with intention in our fleet, our associates and members' experience, all right, to become the world's best club retailer. The company said its newly opened store in Grapevine, Texas, already has the Just Go system in place, and the store will be setting, all right, the standard for the club for the future. The new store was designed to make shopping faster, smoother, and more enjoyable, and that's the convenience aspect of it that they're going to sell people in to get the MOTB. All right, so I don't see any point of sale system or anything that accepts sin, because you got this group that keeps saying sin in all of its forms or all of its aspects is the MOTB. So it doesn't say that Sam's Club will be accepting sin or you can pay with sin, because deal with the buying and selling aspect. How would you be able to buy and sell if the mark of the beast is sin in all of its forms or all of its aspects? All right, it will have to be something physical. Now, going into this video, I'm going to play it and respond to it. This right here lets you know why it has to be physical, because it gives the elites the ability to control and manipulate and coerce. All right, and that's what they want. They want total power. They want total control. So without further ado,
I think what we're dealing with here is actually a global
coming, and is what's facing us all in the future if we do not open our eyes and wake up.
It's going to come regardless, whether you open your eyes and wake up or not.
To control other human beings.
All right, it's going to come regardless. Because this is the prophecy of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. The mark of the beast system is technology given into Esau by Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai to fulfill what he already predetermined to happen in the earth.
Is a story as old as time. There's a very strong drift in the direction of globalization, of the ultimate centralization of control in the hands of unelected officials
and it's not unelected officials. It's the elite. All right, the elite rich banking families. Bill Gates, Elon Musk, all right, Jeff Bezos. They're all low level when it comes down to the rich elite banking families. So this is their agenda, which they figured it out that they can now control people and they don't need money to do it. The whole system of taking away gold and silver, all right, and taking away a person's ability to own land and to be sovereign and defend themselves, well, that was for their agenda to basically control the people. So now you got to go to school, get a job, and work, tiring hours, all right, just to make money to get by from day to day. And you're never getting or going anywhere because you don't own nothing. Well, they figured out that basically they don't need cash to do that anymore. They can do that through technology.
Supranational organizations.
They want all of the resources of the world in their pocket.
The bigger picture,
if they get all of the resources of the world in their pocket, then that means everybody has to come to them.
is that an attempt is underway now to collapse liberal democracy and replace it with global technocracy.
All right, replace democracy with global technocracy. Technocracy is when technology rules. All right, the biometric system, all right, the facial recognition, the iris scans, the fingerprint scans, all right, the artificial intelligence to read the face. Now, the only thing that's missing from that is the IOB, the Internet of Bodies. You throw that in, that's a perfect marketed beast system.
This is a coup. They're saying we can control with rules. We don't need currency anymore.
It's like an inverted prison. You are supposedly free to roam about, but everything you want to access is behind lock and key.
Which is considered doing away with anonymity. Anonymity is having the ability to be anonymous. All right, everything that you do. All right, just like the Black Mirror episodes. Everything that people did was being recorded and monitored. If a woman go and commit adultery on her husband, well, guess what? If the dude has the MOTB, he'll know. All right, I was watching Elder Mwatazak out of Cali earlier, which he did a video on the MOTB, which is a very edifying lesson. And he had mentioned in the video, look, your woman wouldn't have to go through your iPhone. All right, they'll have that blockchain technology. Everybody know, all right, what you spent. All right, because they'll get a copy of it. All right, they'll be connected to a digital ledger in the MOTB. All right, which is a RFID chip and the brain chip. So there's no more secrets. There's no more anonymity. Everything a person does will be under surveillance. It will be monitored.
The potential for social control is gigantic and potentially irreversible.
They plan to commandeer land, reduce farming, and radically change the food we eat, transform the supply of electricity, and then dictate how we use it, and replace currency with a system of credits. All three strategies are built on the premise of a climate crisis.
Yep, and what they used was the climate, but then they turned around and they used the COVID, all right, to basically manipulate people and to get their agenda rolling. And they do everything in steps. You got Agenda 2021, all right, and around that time, that's when the C thing popped off. You got Agenda 2025, and then you got Agenda 2030. They're doing everything in steps.
Caused by carbon dioxide.
I do not think there's a climate crisis, and I base that on all the evidence and the climate data sets that we build to answer questions just like that. The government is very clear that they want a catastrophic story.
There is no single science paper that proves conclusively that humans control all or most of the global climate.
Europe's mad dash towards net zero is effectively economic suicide. Politicians are purposely impoverishing ordinary people, purposely deindustrializing Europe.
That's the point. Deindustrialize, let the power get turned out, take over the food supply, take over the resources, all right, do trade tariffs, with companies that'll cause goods not to come in, the price of things to go up, eventually recessions, all right, then inflation, then hyperinflation. You can't afford nothing. You're in a state of being desperate. All right, in a state like that, no one needs rules to control you. All right, people will be willing to take the MOTB because they're going to be desperate and very covetous.
It's just tremendous amounts of damage in the name of saving the planet. It does make you ask, what is it we're actually saving if we're paving it over?
I think what we're dealing with here is actually a global war on agriculture.
When you look at how many farms are selling up, we're walking into food shortages.
If I can switch everybody from real food to pharma food, then 100% of the agriculture industry can go through my publicly traded stocks, and I have complete control.
This is the biggest public relations scam in the history of the world. But it's far more than that. It's a blueprint. It is the action plan.
All life on Earth is going to be radically changed.
Everything will be monitored. The environmental consequences of every human action.
The general population cannot fathom the psychopathy of the vision that they're facing.
We need to wake up, everybody.
Yep, that's the MOTB system right there. That is the MOT to the B system. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this scripture in there. All right, and this is pretty much the sentiment of what the elder was pushing earlier in this video. Look, you gonna know that a prophet was among you. All right, when this vision finally really takes off, all right, as it states within Ezekiel 22:5, it says, "And they, whether they were here, whether they were forbear, for they are a rebellious house, yet shall they know there have been a prophet among them," because Great Millstone has been warning you. And we're literally the only camp, us and our affiliates are the only ones that are warning of the MOTB. The rest of y'all niggas out there, y'all ain't warning. All right, y'all talking about us being here for another 10 years, another 20 years, another 1,000 years, because you're comfortable here. And a lot of you groups have a 501c3. And as the elder was bringing out in his video earlier, well, there's conferences that are held where certain government groups, ABC groups, all right, tell pastors that, look, we're using you to help control the people. All right, this is the reason why you had churches promoting and pushing the jump shot. All right, like it states within the book of Revelation, the 19th chapter, in the 20th verse, "And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles." The miracles are all of the things that can be done with the technology. Somebody that don't have legs or arms, all right, with robotic limbs, they can control it through the computer-brain interface, all right, the brain CHIP, all right, who wrought miracles before him, which had deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, and them that worshipped his image. These both were cast alive into the lake of fire, burning with brimstone. So it mentioned the false prophet. The false prophet is the Roman Catholic Church. And all of these other churches are under the Roman Catholic Church. So no wonder why these different churches were promoting the jump shot. And now it's going to be the MOTB, because they're going to try to push that Romans the 13th chapter, which Romans the 13th chapter doesn't have shit to do with how they're trying to push it. It's basically saying that, look, you can't rise up against these governments and take them down because the Heavenly Father ordained them. Remember, Daniel the 7th chapter, there's 4 kingdoms that were ordained to rule over the earth. All right, the Babylonians, the Persians and the Medes, the Greeks and the Romans, which we happen to be in the Roman Empire right now, which is redesigned or reincarnated. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and end the lesson there. I hope that it was edifying, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Double honors to our apostles and our elders of the Church of Great Millstone. The peace, love, salutations, and mercy be unto the elect. Shalom.